Hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lord Kale here with my second battle report. It's between my buddy's Empire and my Dark Elves. I got this army pretty much put together, minus the bleak swords, in about a week. Um, I put the cauldron together, and then I got a little excited and overboard, and ended up pretty much putting everything else together. And I made some custom bases for him real quick one night, and so that's pretty much the gist of it. Let's get into it. Um, he's still, or this is pretty much just a straight battle line. The bottom right forest that you can see right there is it's a wildwood. Um, and the upper left forest is also a wildwood. Um, we actually decided to roll for terrain this time because we don't normally do that. We figured we'd switch it up sometime. At least, if we ever go into a tournament, we want to be able to, at least apply terrain. In the middle there is an altar of Cain. It's also my turn counter I just made. Um, on the left is just a regular hill, and the right's a regular hill, and then, well, both hills on the right are regular hill, and the marsh in the middle is, um, I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one that gives you 6+ regen if the majority of your units are in there. And so that's pretty much deployment too, but we'll get into that in a second. Here is my opponent's right flank. On his very far right is a steam tank. To the right of him is 10 handgunners. To the right of them is 50 spearmen, with a wizard lord with a talisman of preservation, a battle wizard with a dispel scroll, captain of the empire with a dragon helm, and then a warrior priest. So pretty hefty character unit. I mean, Empire's pretty cheap when it comes to characters, but still pretty hefty there. Here's his middle. An attachment of 20 halberdiers, a great cannon, um, 3 demigriffs, another great cannon, um, 9 knightly orders, and then he's also got his general in there, which has Ogre Blade, Enchanted Shield, and a Talisman of Endurance. And then his far left flank is 2 Hellfire volley guns, both with a Master Engineer. So this is my right flank. I have 2 bolt throwers, kind of give them line of sight in between the 2 units there. I have a unit of 5 Dark Riders with just a musician. Um, they have the spears, light armor, shields, and repeater crossbows. To the left of that unit is 44 bleak swords. Kind of a bunker, kind of just a big block of. It's my first time playing Dark Elves, and I honestly wasn't sure without Witch Elves really what to take. So I just took 44 bleak swords. I figured 2 units of 20 really wasn't going to do that much, and 1 unit of 40, at least I get a decent number of attacks, and it's a pretty decent bunker for a Supreme Sorceress in there, which has the Talisman of Preservation and a Dispel Scroll. My middle is a Cauldron of Blood with 28 Harganeth Executioners, and my Master BSB, which has Heavy Armor, Sea Dragon Cloak, Shield, and then the Death Hag on the Cauldron has the Obsidian Blade and Witch Brew. So on the left of them are 2 converted bolt throwers. To the left of them is 5 more Dark Riders with the Musician. Shield. Over here, I have 5 Doomfire Warlocks with the Master. I put the Master in there just so it'll pretty much sink an irresistible force, so at least it doesn't destroy the entire unit. It just kills the Master the first time. And then that would be my Dreadlord on the Pegasus, who has an Ogre Blade, Dawnstone, Talisman of Endurance, and Charm Shield. And that's deployment. So he gets the +1, and For spell generation, I get Throne of Vines, Flesh to Stone, Regrowth, and Shield of Thorns, Doombolt, and Soulblight on my Warlocks, and then the Cauldron spell. For him, on his level 4, he gets Earthblood, Regrowth, Shield of Thorns, and Dwellers Below, and on his level 1, he gets Wisdom's Wild Form. And here is Empire turn 1. So he generates 5 points with a steam tank. I think he uses 2 to go forward, and he actually rolls a 2 and a 1, which was pretty intense. So he moved 3 inches forward. So and I don't believe he actually shot with that steam tank for some reason. I don't remember why. And over here, he pretty much moves everything up. I think, fortunately for me at this point, I'm like, cool, he's within 6 inches of the Altar of Cain, which means his Halberdiers and his Spearmen have Frenzy. And then his handgunners over there are kind of pretty much stuck. They could reform and go through, I guess, but yeah, they're pretty much stuck. On the right of that, the Demigriffs don't move, and the Great Cannon obviously. So in this phase, when he shot obviously probably what anybody would do. He shot both cannons, one shot and planted about an inch or two in front of the cauldron, and then misfired for the bounce, so it just kind of planted on the ground. The other bounced through, and both my hag and the cauldron made the ward saves, thank God, because it's just, I just can't believe a cannonball can take out 2 people. It's just kind of ridiculous. And so over here, Dark Elf turn 1. The Warlocks kind of move up, and then, I'm kind of being hesitant this turn. Not with my Dark Riders or my Warlocks. They're not exactly expendable, but, the Warlocks have to be close enough to do anything. The Dark Riders are pretty much just bait, and then my Dreadlord kind of sulks. He gets a little bit closer to the hill. Can't be seen by cannons, which is stupid because it's not like the cannons are really going to shoot at him. They have a nice cauldron of blood over there that they need to shoot to obviously soften that unit up. So, in retrospect, I probably would have moved him up quite a bit farther. But hindsight's 20/20. So, moving on. Over here, once again, hindsight's 20/20. I don't think I moved my cauldron at all. Really, I don't know why I was afraid of being charged. I would have, maybe moved them up pretty much as far as they can go so they can charge next turn, because at this point, all I'm doing is pretty much sitting here waiting to get shot by a cannon. So that wasn't exactly my best decision on that one. And then my block of spearmen just kind of sit there, which probably should have moved up too, but it's probably better that they stay there, because really nothing that I could charge right off the bat is in a good spot. So, and then those Dark Riders move there. So, this is kind of the battlefield after Dark Elf turn 1. Shooting was a wash for me, really. I think one bolt thrower killed 3 spearmen, and the sorceress got her lookout sir roll. That's about it. Magic, I got off Throne of Vines, but it was dispelled, so that was pretty much it for magic. So Empire turn 2, Steam Tank tries to generate 5 steam points, rolls a misfire, and then rolls a 6, so it explodes. Nothing actually moves up, just stays in the same spot. There's pretty much everything there. Now, on his turn 2, he threw all of his dice, I think it was 5 or 6 dice, at the Dwellers Below on my Spearmen, and got it irresistible force, and the resulting miscast actually did a wound to each one of his casters Also the warrior priest because it can technically channel. Um, so it took a wound as well. And so he ended up killing 21 of my of my spearmen, but thank God my supreme sorceress passed. So the demigryphs and everything stay in the same spot. One cannon misfires and then just can't shoot this turn. The other cannon, unfortunately, shoots, kills my death hag, and puts 3 wounds on the cauldron. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as soon as the death hag dies, the cauldron goes away. I think. If I'm wrong, please correct me on that, because that would have made me a little happier. But turn 2, my cauldron pretty much gets destroyed. So that's unfortunate, but that's okay. Whatever. I was a little depressed at this point. I was like, okay, well, the game's turning around. It's kind of painful. Um, one, uh, the 2 organ guns. I think one organ gun killed uh 2 of my Dark Riders that I kind of planted right in front of them, and then the other organ gun actually didn't do any wounds to my Doomfire Warlocks because it was over 12 and through a forest, so I think they needed like 6s or something to hit. So I don't even think he wounded. If he did wound, I made my save. So uh, there's 2 guys missing from my Dark Riders, and there's 21 Bleak Swords missing from that unit. Over here, that would be my Cauldron, now dead, and this is also actually, uh, that's where I moved Dark Elf turn 2. I moved into the marsh. And then this is Dark Elf turn 2. So, I moved my Dark Riders kind of in front of my Dreadlord, which I'm not really sure why, I didn't get a cover save or nothing, so I don't see why I did that in retrospect, but that's okay. That's an alright place for him. And then I moved my Doomfire Warlocks right there because I'm hoping to get off Doombolt on the Hellfire Volley Gun and hopefully destroy it. So, and then over here, that's what the end of it looks like. 2 of my Bolt Throwers killed 4 Knights. I think I did 1 wound to the handgunners on the bottom from the 6 shots I get from my Dark Riders. The Bleak Swords stay in the same spot. And then the other 2 Bolt Throwers don't do anything, actually. Magic was once again a wash. I didn't actually get anything off. I tried to go for the juiced up Doombolt version and failed miserably. So, Empire turn 3. So, Empire turn 3, nothing moves. Shoots once again. I apologize, by the way. I think I'm getting all these slide numbers wrong. So this is actually Dark Elf's turn 4, but nothing moves, so technically it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Just don't mind the executioners right there. So Empire turn 3, cannon, both cannons shot. I do not believe any of them did anything. The cannon on the right shot at the Dreadlord on the Pegasus. Charm Shield just kind of blew that one away, and then the organ guns killed, I think, 11 executioners, and they passed their break test. And then Dark Elf turn 3. I charged my executioners into the demigryphs, and I maximized so I could also hit the great cannon, which I was barely touching the barrel, which I was pretty stoked about. It was weird too because I was like, oh man, I need a 9. I was like, well, I might as well, what else am I gonna do? Just move up and get shot at again. So I roll, and it's exactly a 6 and a 3, and I was like, awesome. And then my Dark Pegasus needed like a 4, something stupid, so I ended up rolling like a 9 or something. But anyway, I got into combat. 1 Grey Cannon's there. This is after combat. I did 4 wounds to the demigryphs. I did 2 wounds to the Great Cannon. And I hope we didn't do this wrong, but the Great Cannon failed its panic test and fled, and I think if I remember correctly, if you flee from combat, you just get destroyed. So we just took it out of combat. Ow. Um, I did 4 wounds, a total of 6 wounds. I have 2 banners and a charge, so that's 9. He did like 5 wounds and lost by 4. He's not steadfast, and they rolled like a 3, which I think is exactly what they needed pretty much. And the Dark Pegasus over there with his charge to a wound, which is like 2, I think, to nothing, and a standard. They lost by 1, but they're steadfast and they stick. Over here, I moved the Doomfire Warlocks behind. I don't know exactly what I was thinking. I was like, cool, if they flee, then they're gonna flee through me. Which I don't really know exactly what I was thinking here, because they don't flee, they just cower in one spot. So I just moved it here, and I don't know if I was thinking maybe that they couldn't turn around and shoot me or what. Also, if you know the rules on that, I don't know if they can pivot all the way around. Please let me know. That'd be awesome in the comment section. Magic was a wash. I do believe, though, I got Throne of Vines off. And I also got Doombolt off, and I actually did 1 wound to the organ gun. So I was pretty stoked about that. So I moved my Dark Riders into the marsh. These Dark Riders didn't do anything with shooting. Those Dark Riders are in the marsh right there, so they have a 6-up regen. They did multi-shots. I figured 6 shots over 3, needing 6s instead of 5s, I do believe it was. I don't know if my math's correct, but I think I have a better chance of actually hitting that way. So I ended up killing 2 halberdiers, which was kind of nice. And then they just kind of stuck right there, which I wish I should have moved them, but I didn't. So, and then this is just my back line here. And over here, I parked my Dark Riders right there, so every turn that that unit would have to test for Frenzy, and they've passed every unit so far, or every turn so far. And then the Halberdiers are in line of sight. The Dark Spears are in line on the side of the Halberdiers, so they had to make a test as well, and they passed. So that was kind of a bummer. I would hope they would either, make the charge, and then I would flee, and they'd fail a charge, and then I'd just rally and do it again. Or they just get in an awkward enough position where I could, shoot them with a bunch of bolt thrower shots and just try to kill them as much as possible. But it didn't happen up till this point. So Empire turn 4 here. So right here, last turn I won, but I didn't reform, kind of like a dummy. I should have. In combat, I think I did 3 more wounds. If I would have maximized, I probably would have killed them all, but I didn't. Reformed, and then I beat him. I ran him down. I think he rolled like a 6 or something, and I ended up rolling a 7, or he rolled a 7 and I rolled a 7. But anyway, I ended up catching him. And then I'm not sure why the cannon's gone. We might have done that incorrectly, but yeah. So that's where they sit. Magic, he tries to cast Dwellers Below, and he rolls like a 7, and which is like a total of 11, and he doesn't get it off, thank God, because that spell is just terrible. If you're the person casting it, or not the person casting it. And then over here in combat, I kill 1 more knight, and then the organ gun turns around to fire at my warlocks, and it actually does 1 wound. And the other organ gun, I do believe, finishes off my Dark Riders. So there's a better picture of that. And for these guys, this is Dark Elf turn 4. Apparently I did move them up in a charge distance. I think I needed like a 9 or a 10, and I actually rolled it, and so they got into combat. And now that unit has Frenzy as well as the Halberdiers. And this is after combat. I also got Throne of Vines off this game, and then For some reason I forgot, but my opponent informed me that I can do the 6-shot thing with the bolt thrower, and so I did, and I still only killed like 5 spearmen, but that's okay. You know, I don't know. They're doing some damage there, so that's. I mean, it could be better. So and then after combat, I actually got thrown of vines off irresistibly, and then I rolled a 1 to see if it dissipated, and then I rolled a 3, I do believe it is, or a 9, one of the two. And so I did a small template. It killed, I think, 3 of my guys, and then all 4 of his guys it was touching. So that was kind of nice. And this is after combat. I did like 9 wounds, I think. So he had 4 guys left, and then Uh, I think he killed like 2 or something. So my charge and a banner to his banner, and 3. I think he lost by like 6 or something, and he needed double ones to stick, and he rolled it. I was kind of hoping that he wouldn't, but luckily I'm out of the charge arc of the spearmen. Um, that and they can't wheel um, enough to actually hit me because they alter a cane. So that's kind of, and that's just kind of a better picture of that combat. And then a little bit better picture there. And then this is, I also moved my warlocks over here. I kind of figured it was a failed attempt to keep casting Doombolt on the War Machines since they're toughness 7 and I need like 6s to wound them. So I moved them over here so I could cast Doombolt on the Spearman unit. And then I reformed my Executioners like that so I could charge the Knights over there. And that's just kind of a better picture of that. There's a better picture of the organ guns. And that's combat. Apparently I missed Empire turn 5 on here somewhere. But anyway, magic's a wash. The organ guns have nothing to shoot at. I kill the halberdiers in combat. Nothing happens in magic. Nothing happens in shooting. I do believe he kills the rest of my Dark Riders over there. And then Dark Elf turn 5. Pretty much what I did was I charged my Executioners in, which in retrospect is a terrible idea. I don't know why I thought that. And I also challenged the General for the last 3 turns. And it's just a terrible idea because now that everybody's out of combat, he can turn both his organ guns and pretty much blast my Dreadlord into oblivion. Which I think would most definitely happen. But anyway, combat there. And that's how that looks there after my turn. I'm going to go over there and try to get some points to the handgunners. And then I reformed my sorceress's unit and to get some ranks. And then the end of the game shot here. Pretty much he called it after I killed that unit. And that's kind of how it looks over there. He took his help fireball guns away. Honestly, he may or may not have passed his leadership test because I do believe they're leadership 7. So I think if he failed with, one of them, I think I probably would have had a pretty good chance of surviving. But a possibility of 60 shots, which would probably be, I think about 14 to 16 shots, I guess, would probably be the average shooting at me. I mean, 16, 32, 28 to 32 shots, needing 4s, so it'd be like 16, and then strength 5, needing 3s. So he'd probably wound me with, I don't know, 10 of them. So I'd have to make 10 4 rerollable saves and then 5 up. So I would probably definitely be dead. If I could have done it differently, I probably, wouldn't have charged my Executioners in there. Killed his general because he had 1 wound left, and then stayed in combat with the knights, and then maybe did 2 wounds to them, and then panic them and fly off the table my next turn, and then next turn when I come on, charge one of the Hellfire volley guns with my Executioners, and I mean that's enough attacks to kill one of them and then overrun into the other one. So I think that would have been a much better idea. then just getting out of combat and pretty much opening me up to a possible 32 shots at strength 5 armor piercing. So that would have been a better idea. Um, but learn from your mistakes. Victory points for, or not victory points. I think I did it better this time than I did on my last battle report. Dark Elves lost Cauldron, Death Hag, and 2 full Dark Rider units. Part of the Executioner unit and part of the Bleak Sword, so I do believe they count as half. The Empire lost the Steam Tank, 2 Great Cannons, the Lord, the Knightly Order, Demigryphs, and Halberdiers. The Dark Elves had 1,570 points left because half the Executioners and half the Bleak Swords, correct me if I'm wrong, is worth half points. And then points left for the Empire is 1,287. They didn't have any units at half, but pretty much everything was destroyed minus 2 War Machines, the Handgunners, and the Spearman unit. So, all in all, I think it was a pretty decent win for the Dark Elves. Honestly, I think if I would have played that last turn better, would have been fine. If we did go another turn, probably would have killed my Dreadlord. So, I guess I'm happy he called it a turn 5, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to play it out. I definitely, thinking about it now, would have probably not challenged his Lord. Or I would have challenged his Lord, but at least not charged my Executioners in there. Or, at the same time, not moving him, I could have charged my Executioners into his volley gun from the overrun, and then tied that one up, and then uh, at least would have saved my Dreadlord maybe, because I think 16 hitting on uh, fours, I guess, or threes. I think it's fours. Probably that many shots, 4 up armor save or rollable plus a 5 up ward. I think I might have been fine taking a wound or two. Hopefully, didn't die. But the bolt throwers weren't that impressive for me. They didn't do that good. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna try them for a while, and it's really the biggest shooting that I have, so I need a shooting phase. I wish they did better, but they didn't. A few turns I shot at the cannons, which, I mean, you need a 4 to wound, and then you need to roll a 6 in order to really do anything. But that's fine. I think I might have done more damage, maybe shooting at the Demigryphs or more at the Knights. I think next time I'll probably place them differently. Because right now where they're at, they have a very narrow shooting area. So, all in all, I think my deployment was okay. Game recap, I would honestly not be so hesitant. Empire's kind of squishy. I have always strike first, so I would definitely move everything up a lot faster, a lot farther. So maybe where he moved up, and then if I were to move up my turn too, I could have charged. I think would have been a lot better than just sitting there waiting to get shot at. But I mean, I learned a lot, and that's good. So first time playing an army, and I learned a lot. So, um, but thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed it. So more to come. I'm gonna try to post one every 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye. Lord Kale signing off. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Lord Kale here. I make these bases. I started out for myself, but then somebody brought it up. It's like, hey, other people might like those. So I make these bases out of a thin gauge of metal, and then I bend the sides, 3 of the sides, so you guys have room in the back, in case just one day you want to put some more in there, or, you just want to add something extra, and so I bend the sides up about 1/8 of an inch, and I just paint them black, so you can base them, or it's pretty standard, all around general color, and I love them. They're practically just perfect fit. Each guy sets together, like they normally would if you set them next to each other, and then their bases on the very ends or the fronts just just fit right on there. It's just such a perfect fit. I love them. I'm making them for my buddy right now, and I sell them for $6.99 a piece. If you buy five, you get one free. Any size, pretty much just email me and tell me what sizes you want. Like my cavalry bases are about 125 by 50. And I leave a little bit of an extra lip on the back of them, and as you can see in the picture, it's a pretty snug fit, and they still sit flat. It's not like they're all bunched up or nothing. So pretty much just email me, tell me what size you want, and I'll make them for you, and I'll send an invoice to your PayPal, and we'll go from there. And give me your address, and I'll send them to you. So thanks again, and hope you enjoy them. Bye.